We're live. Okay. It's been a while since I've done anything live on a stream, and maybe eventually, once everything's all worked out, I'll do more of this stuff. But today, I just wanted to get on and do some little drawings, some ideas, some sketches. I got this little sketchbook, a new little sketchbook. It's really cool. It's made by Binderwork. They're German. It's got these little clips in it, and all of the paper in the sketchbook is just kind of loose leaf paper, so you can fill it up with your own paper, use the paper they have. Anyway, this is some ideas that I've had for Spacao 5 or Spacao 6. Goodness. Had this idea when I was teaching. My buddy and I were talking about some fun things like mixing up names and putting things out, like Wizard Cowboy, which is all in Spacao, and then Underwater Samurai, just names of things and seeing if they stick. Underwater Samurai definitely did stick. Thanks, Elliot Owen. Welcome back to streaming. Hey, I'm about to get my streaming setup back up and running, and I think Wednesdays are going to be the days that I do streaming again. It might be just over here, which would be cool. Just over on the Substacks. But I've got this little character, and I had drawn some stuff on a just a white piece of paper while I was subbing, and wanted to draw, kind of figuring out shapes. That's where I'm at with this idea. After working on daily strips for so long, I really like the feel and flow of just 4-tiered panels. Let me grab a book. Here's the latest copy of Spacao 5, and I've been putting out the daily strips. And I wonder if I can flip this camera around. Let's see if we can flip it. So it is, so it does its, maybe not. That must be in a settings that I don't have. All right. Anyway, I've been doing these daily strips, and I've been doing the daily strips, and printing them 4 at a time. And I really like the way that fills up the page. I really like the flow of the strip when it's done 4 at a time. So it's kind of how I'm thinking about writing everything moving forward, is in these 4-panel strips. And that's what I'm thinking about here. So like right here, this little boat image would be a strip, right? And then it's placing it on a page and making it look fine and dandy. But I'm at the point, and one of the things I like about strips and strip writing is it's really image based, and you can kind of just like if you think about 4 strips a page, right, you get it looks like this, and you get to have like one cool image each strip, and then you can kind of write around that image. I'm trying to make my first graphic novel. Do you have any advice that you believe would help me without having to learn the hard way? Yeah, there's so many things. Let's start small. I know you say you want to do your first graphic novel. Have you written any short stories? Have you written anything that's on a much smaller scale? Because that's going to help you figure out how long it's going to take you to do your graphic novel. And that's a huge benefit, is knowing about how long it takes you to do a page, how long it takes you to pencil, how long it takes you to write. something. That, like, all of those things kind of compound to really figure out how to make a comic, whether that's 1-page comics or 64-page comics. Right, you're building your muscle memory onto how things are going. Thumbnail out everything. Don't waste your time going straight to inks or straight to the page. Really kind of know what you're doing and have your game plan kind of set up. That's my biggest advice that I can give anybody who is making their first comic or their first graphic novel. Is just like, knowing how long it's going to take you to do something is always a huge benefit. So like right now, what I'm doing with this Underwater Samurai is just figuring out what things are going to look like, kind of figure out images that I want to draw, images that I think would make a cool story. The ideas that I have, kind of the big bullet points here are, we have Samurai is a fisherman. Why are you sending down a guy to why are you sending down a guy into the water? Why is the samurai going into the water? He's a fisherman. He is going to use his catch to feed people. He is a sushi chef. I can't spell to save my life. That is the idea here, right? Like, this is what we're doing. So if you're writing this might be 4 pages, 4 to 5 pages, right? Like, that's all I have space for in Spikao around the other stuff. How many images is that? 5 times 4 is 20. So 20 strips, right? I've got 20 of these that I have to fill up. And this, if you look at the daily strip being 3 to 4 strips, is 1 strip, basically, right? 1 big strip that you're going to fill over. It's three beats. 1, beat 1, he's a fisherman. That can be a page. 2, he's going to use his catch to feed people. Well, he's got to go catch a fish. Boom. 2, that's the second act, quote unquote, of the story. 3, so this could be 1 page, 2, 3 pages, 4 pages. This thing might be 4 pages if I want to add more fight scenes or more stuff. Or boom, it's a 4-page story. 4 times 4, 16 panels, 16 strips, 3 to 4 panels a strip. Maybe a lot of 1 panel strips. You're gonna have a pretty quick story altogether. I've written short stories before, but I am trying to make a graphic novel as a way to use a dying art form. Do you think comics are dying? That is my question to you. If you think comic books are dying, you're in the wrong place. I'm struggling to understand the workflow from text to spread. I really appreciate your kind words of encouragement. Thank you. My thing to say to you is read a bunch of comics and figure out how they're using spreads, right? Like, I make comics for a living. Do not think comics are dying. In fact, think we're in the opposite. I'm using dying visual art form called to visualize the graphics. Oh, cool. Yeah, just don't overload a page. Have you written short stories? Have you written short comic stories. That's the two are not the same. A short story, you can get a lot more information. A short story, like I've been doing some adaptations of Mark Twain short stories, and those 3 to 4 page stories are like 60-page comics, right? Um, just on how condensed they have to be. Um, a short comic story is like an idea, and all you're doing is writing an idea. Like a page. A page is a short comic story. A page in prose can get you like 5 pages in comics. Do that a bunch. That is like my advice is do that a bunch before you try to do a 5-page prose story into a thing. All right. Anyway, back to Underwater Samurai. I've got a little bit of a drawing that I like. This character that I've drawn here is really boring. It's pretty standard. So I'm gonna see if I can change and kind of mold him into a more interesting looking character, instead of just this handsome chef guy. Never trust a skinny chef. So how can we make him a little more? Is he plump because he's a chef? Is he skinny because he's a samurai? Is, you know, is he more Polynesian looking? And there's a lot of things. I'm going to, this blue is really showing up on this page. So this is just the ideation side of things. Give him an earring, so that looks cool. We have a little more bohemian, a little more Polynesian in our original sketch. Is it better? Does he need to be old and grizzled and not as youthful? You know, find out. I think we do need to give him the full, you know, traditional samurai chops. Give him a little Fu Manchu. Is that something we do? I'm looking for a couple things here. I'm looking for does it look good? Do I want to draw this multiple times? On a page. What pen are you using? That's a good question. What pen is this? These are the Pilot Touch pens. They're sign pens. This one, I really like these pens. They're really fun for sketching, and I've done some professional work with them. It's pretty great. Um, it's it's a little bit looser than a Tombow pen. They also come in like two different sizes. And I really like the other one, but it's a lot thicker. Um, so the Pentel sign pens. It's just a brush pen with a little felty thing. I used them a lot. I think a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, and I really liked them. But I now kind of just use them for this kind of stuff. Just kind of, you know, mindlessly sketching and kind of feeling out the forms and stuff. I'll do thumbnails with them because they're just thick and permanent. But I've been using, and it's a lot less finicky than these Galat 290 dip pens that I use, and Silver Black Velvet #4 brushes. Those are my typically when you see a page, a comics page that I've done, it's with those. This is, we're just in a sketchbook and we're figuring out stuff. I don't particularly like that figure. I don't know if it's the right thing, so we're gonna quickly just rough in some forms. I don't do this all the time. I've got drawings that I need to do. Most times I don't have time to do this kind of character development. This is a figure I like. More traditional. Hero is not. I think I like a skinny fisherman type. I think that's what we're going to go for. So where this one is a little more heroic, and this guy could be a little more comedic in its storytelling. I think I like the idea of a really thin, weathered. His face is really weathered from being out in that salty air. do like the brass in his mouth. Maybe his hair is receding. You can get some really thin lines with these marks if you're really delicate. You can get some pretty thick lines with these marks. Kind of making up muscle forms. Does that lower lip read like a lower lip? Not really. We're not concerned about that yet. I think that's a good character trait. We put a bone. It's tied together with a bone. Maybe that's the look. That's much more, I think, what we're trying to go for instead of more heroic, more. I think live. It's definitely more of a thing. I think he also, my fear when I wanted to do somebody that was a little more uh, grizzled and older, is making him look like Wizard Cowboy. So it's figuring out ways, because I like old grizzled men. I like to draw old grizzled men. So trying to figure out a way to make him not look like the main character in Spakow, Wizard Cowboy, which is much more. Uh, he's got a much more squat face, right? He's much more like this, bigger ears, a little more cartoony in just his, but also big mustache. So what do you do to make this guy not look like this guy? elongate the face. Nose is kind of crooked and broken. Big, pouty outer jaw. I think he works. I think it's not too egregiously just me drawing the same guy over and over again. I know for a fact that I want a he's going to be using one of those old scuba masks or diver masks, helmets, the ones that have the this is a Pentel rolling rider. Why I switched, no particular reason. This does give you a pretty dumb line, which is nice. It's just a fun sketching tool. It's also a good drawing tool, if that's your bag. I know these things have like shoulders. And at this point, I'm not referencing anything. I'm not looking up what this stuff actually looks like. This is all just me figuring out ideas. It's like, yeah, I know that this is an old this is what an old helmet is, and this is what an old helmet represents. Is this what it's going to look in the strip? Maybe. Maybe I don't reference it at all, and we all just kind of pretend that I know what I'm doing. But this is pretty good. I know exactly what it is. And then the other question I had, and I've drawn him in various positions here, in his full like samurai getup, does it look cooler if he's not wearing the samurai gear on his top, right? If it does this, and we get to see that lithe, really thin body. Is it cooler if this is is it cooler if he's shirtless and has like tattoos around him? Is that a cooler design than a samurai? Does he doff his like traditional garb to go underwater? Is that cool? Does that look cool in a scene? That's, does it look cool if we have a strip with him on top of a boat, right? He's here. Boat's rocking. The guy's standing. Tosses. Is it cool enough? Does it look cool enough? This is all we're doing now. Does it look cool enough? for a guy to be on the bow of a boat, tossing off his shirt. I think the answer is pretty obvious. And the answer is yes. It's definitely cool enough. I think that is an interesting panel, enough of an interesting panel to give me a design choice as to whether I want his shirt off or not. And here, to go back to writing comics and kind of how-to stuff, actionable pieces, right? Like this. This looks cool. This is a fun moment that is determining kind of what the look of the character will be moving forward. I didn't come up with the character design and then come up with this idea of him taking it off. I came up with an idea, thought, would it be cool? Would this work? And then going in and writing a panel that would facilitate a cool moment. When you are writing your own comic, think of that. Like, don't get so hung up on an idea, because I was really hung up on the idea of being underwater. You can't see this, and having the whole garb kind of floating in free form. Now, changes everything. We're here, and we can have him in this panel. Putting on his helmet. And that is like kind of a whole, like that's enough for a strip for me. You know, it's a cool image paired with another image that's kind of cool and evocative. Boom. Now I don't have to write that. And so when I actually sit down to like script this thing out, this book will be probably several pages of just like this kind of thing. And I can think of, and then I'll tie them together and piece them together. However, which way I feel that it needs to happen. But that's how I write a strip. There's not going to be a lot of talking in this. I think it's going to be primarily just images strung together. I do have the image to close out the whole thing has been in my head, and maybe this is where I'll end today. 35 minutes is kind of 35 to 40 minutes is kind of what I have to spend on this today. I am currently writing other comics that people are paying me to write, so I have to I have deadlines and things. But my idea, like the final image of the entire thing, is a sushi bar. People sitting in front. Like an omakase bar. People watching the master doing his thing. And the guys here. All right. We've got maybe a big tray behind him with ice and things. And then you've got the head of the fish that he hunts and kills. The fish kind of takes up the rest of the panel. And that's kind of the final image. Final image. Boom. So now I have a place that I'm working towards. And I have a cool image to kind of get me there. I've got this image of that I want to do for the cover of Spikao, and it's a big fish thing with the samurai. I've got this image right here of the boat kind of coming down in the water. Maybe that's the opening. Maybe this is an opening that it takes up 2 strips, right? Like on a page, if I have 4 strips a page. This one comes here, and then I can have the name kind of at the top. So it will be maybe I can extend it a little more. Alter. And then 2 more strips. That might be a good little opening. That's kind of what I do. This is a little bit the idea process. I'm working, making comics. Well, that's about all I have for today. Maybe I'll get back on. Maybe I'll be able to like stream through OBS and have like an actual system where I can talk and draw at the same time. And you can see my face. And I can look into the camera and look at you. Oh my goodness, the camera. And we won't have, maybe I'll get better lights, or I'll close this window that's outside my house, outside my desk. We'll actually make this thing good. All right, thanks everybody for joining. It's a good hangs, solid hangs on this Wednesday. Peace out.